It's v.h.s.x. What do you mean?
Alright everybody, welcome back to a brand new video. Today we're doing a reaction discussion video from RefinedKills titled "Killers Do Not Deserve This Behavior, Dead by Daylight." And this video was suggested by one of you guys in the Discord community. So if you want to go ahead and submit videos to, be talked about, responded to, things like that, you can go ahead and join the Discord linked in the description. Just make sure you scroll down, hit the knife emoji to accept the rules, and you can be able to chat with the rest of us. But with that being said, we're gonna go ahead and dive into this. I want to touch on a couple of points. Original video is linked in the description so you can watch the rest on your own, but we're just going to dive in, cover a couple of points, and then we'll
simply crying because of a skill issue. A killer can only get value from slowdown if they win their chases. For example,
oh, that's a very good point right off the bat. That is 100% true. I have to 100% agree with that. That is what I've been kind of stating pretty much constantly when talking about killer perks and killer balancing and stuff like that. The only way that slowdown is even remotely effective, and I've actually spoken about this with previously when Druss and Bubba was actually showing it on his own video. The fact of the matter is that slowdown really is not that effective on a lot of the low tiers because of the fact that you are required to get the down in the first place, and a lot of perks like eruption, pain res, surge, things like that are requiring you to actually get downs in order to get value, and and pop as well. You can't really do that and on a consistent basis to get the most amount of value on those characters because of that. A character like Ghostface, a character like Skull Merchant, a character like Trapper, a character like Pig are going to need passive things like Corrupt and Deadlock, and that's pretty much all they can use because it doesn't require you to actually get a down for them to activate. And unfortunately, slowdown is just simply better on other characters, and I've always heard that people were complaining like that, oh, it's always blights with the quad slowdown, but it's like that is the most effective way to play the game because there is simply no other way around it. Like, the gens are way too fast. It's simply just way too difficult for even like the most experienced of players to be able to keep up at this point. And the fact of the matter is that even as an experienced player myself with like thousands of hours, like as somebody who's been playing this game and been playing Ghostface for as long as I have been, can tell you firsthand that like it's already difficult as it is playing a low tier killer, and then on top of the constant survivor buffs, that only gets even more difficult. Then top it off with the fact that you have now the pallet density update, you have the 4-second healing, you got all these other things. It's impossible after a certain point. And sure, you can and there's a lot of coping that goes along with topics like this. Of course, like there's going to be people that probably aren't really as good at the game that are still going to be complaining anyway. However, it does not invalidate those killer players' experience because of the fact that if people that are at low MMR, average MMR are experiencing gen speed that I've only seen in high MMR, that I've only seen like on my own matches like a lot of the time, that already tells me that the game is not heading in the right direction. Because back at like a couple of months ago, like many months ago, the gen speed I was seeing was, I barely saw anybody else except maybe like Red's Gaming Gears who had the same exact like gen speeds, timings, opponents. Like I would see names that I would in my own matches I'd see in his videos and things like that, and I go, yeah, this guy's probably at my level. And now all of a sudden I could watch anybody now and it's like gens are boom 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 boom, and you're like, what the heck is going on? That already tells me that there's a massive problem. That already tells me that this game is not in a good place. That even low to average are starting to struggle. Like, that's crazy.
surge requires you to down a survivor and be within the distance of a gen to cause it to explode and regress. Pain resonance requires you to win your chase, pick up and hook the survivor on a specific hook to get value, which is only used 4 times. This goes for Grim Embrace.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. That's 100% true. There is simply just not a way to get downs any faster with a lot of characters. Like, and that's what I've been stating in every video talking about slowdown, in every video talking about perk changes and things like that. I've said in a previous video, I don't remember if it was a deja vu video or some other kind of like survivor perk video that I was talking about, but I was stating a couple months ago, like these survivor perks really need to be changed, because there is no reason that the progression is so easy to do, but then the regression requires like 10 to 15 times more effort than it does than it is to progress. I've stated this, and here we are, right? Like, here we are, like, talking about it. I predicted this would happen, and this is where we're at because of how ridiculous it is to progress. I've said deja vu is ridiculous. I've said proof that self is ridiculous. I've said, like, this, like, we did not need a resurgence buff. We did not need a botany buff. We did not need empathic connection buffs. We didn't need any of those perks to be buffed. We didn't need vigil to be buffed. Like, these perks were fine where they were. They did not need the buffs, but then they still did it anyway for no reason. And this is where we're at now.
If a killer brings bamboozle to block vaults after going through them, this can catch a survivor off guard and cause them to improvise quickly in the moment, leading to good pressure for the killer. If that first chase was at the start of the game, at Shack for example, and other survivors were not close enough to see bamboozle, they wouldn't know you still have a chance at getting value from it later in the game because the other survivors will not be aware. However, if you are playing against a bunch of survivors who are communicating with each other, all it takes is for that first survivor to call out early in the game and tell the rest of the team that the killer is running bamboozle, which then makes the game way harder for the killer because now all the other survivors will know and will therefore work around this. The same cannot be said for the other side though. A killer is already thinking about everything. They are on their own, and a killer will not always know if a survivor has deliverance, for example.
That's 100% true. I completely agree with Refined on that as well. I've always, like, this ties into another point that I was making in previous videos as well. The amount of effort that it takes for a survivor does not equate to the amount of effort it takes for a killer. And notice that he's like, a killer could bring bamboozle, right? Like, to try to counteract the ridiculous window spawns. And it's immediately countered by them just having a microphone talking to their teammates. Just going, he has bam, boom, that's it, GG's. You can't use bam anymore. It's like, nice. Doesn't matter anymore. Like, they get rid of the window. Oh, cool. We could just run somewhere else because of pallet density. It's like, cool. And that's the problem, right? And yet they have like 1,000 perks that the survivors can just use and bring that will do myriads of pressure just by existing. Because there's no way that a killer really would know that deliverance is in play, for example, or deja vu is in play, for example, or dramaturgy is in play until it's too late. All these things really just kind of happen in response, and there's really no way you could really know that it's coming unless you've gone against it at least like maybe 10, 20, 30 times to go, yeah, this is probably deliverance because they're trying to get downed. And, you know, let's also add on the fact that they want to add anti-slug. They want to add anti-tunnel. They want to add anti-camp. So it's like, in that situation, you're like, well, I have to hook because if I slug, they'll just get up anyway. But then they hop off the hook immediately and then they're already full health or something. So then you're like, okay, well then I'm back down to 0 pressure because everyone's fully healed and there's nobody in chase. I can't down him any faster because pallet density. Like, what else am I supposed to be doing? And it's ridiculous. Like, honestly. And it only makes the highest tiers picked more, which then leads back into complaining and complaining and complaining from the entitled survivor mains that are complaining about it. And that I find to be so insane because that's the issue, right? The complaints for only like just work in their favor, and then it leads to everything getting nerfed, and then they want to complain that they're only going against the highest tiered killers, and it's like, but this is what you wanted. Like, you asked for this. This is exactly what you wanted, just evident by the decisions that you decided to make by complaining to these devs. And I've been saying this. I've always wanted deja vu to get nerfed. I wanted botany to stay where it was. I wanted more perks to be like smash hit. Make it more interactive. Like, there's no reason that we should sit here and have just 6% gen speed bonus for free, like, and aura. Like, that's ridiculous. Like, what are we talking about? Let alone the fact that it already removes the capability of the regens, which you already have a mechanic that prevents it anyway with the damage limit. So it still can be countered. So I'm like, why? Like, why do we have this? Like, what is going on?
They actually do have Dead Hard, or if they have Decisive Strike. Yes, there are ways you can take guesses, but sometimes it doesn't work out and that creates tension. They could even have Conviction and Soul Guard, and even if you think about putting a tiny bit of local pressure around the downed survivor, maybe someone is hovering for a pallet or flashlight save, that survivor can surprise you very quickly, and you wouldn't see it coming because you wouldn't have known. So when you think...
There it is right there. That's another extremely valid point. There's really not a way to know a lot of the things that could occur, and I think that's what affects a lot of the newer players, and that's something that even as a high level player myself, it's a lot of information to retain. You know, even nowadays, like if I were to load up the game right now, I still might forget that Dead Hard is still meta, and I might even wait it out and it somehow still has endurance regardless of me timing it out. Like, things like that. I can forget how a perk interacts, or I can just forget that, oh, of course, or even just out of nowhere, they can pull out a perk that I can't really predict and just do something that completely reverses all my pressure. And that's exactly what I've been trying to kind of say when it comes down to the balancing. I've even stated, like, there should be no item in the game that can delete all your pressure in a single second. Like, that's insane. Like, if you have to put this amount of effort in, at least like 50% effort, the other side should be putting at least 50 or slightly lower than that to be able to make a counter feel equal to the effort. Because that just makes sense. But if you can just like do like 10, 15, 20, 30, 40% of your effort, or say, for example, in DVD, you're boom, hit one, follow them, boom, hit two, down, and then you're finally about to pick up, oh, pallet. All they had to do was just press one button, all your effort's gone. Like, what the hell is that? Like, that's so stupid. Like, that's so dumb. It's like, come on, man.
Think about it. Survivors get to keep the element of surprise, and they barely have to do anything to get value out of their perks, whereas Killer has to go through hurdles just to get some value, which is very predictable to survivors and honestly, not that strong anyway. So this is one part of the bigger issue, the oppressive nature of the game right now. All of this so far can contribute to killer anxiety, the fear of simply wanting to play your favorite killer, to just have to sweat your mind off and feel pulled all over the place, to see the gens go as fast as they do these days and feel like you're being mocked at all corners of the map. How are you supposed to feel like the power roll when you have survivors who can all individually make 5 mistakes each and still be okay because they are held by behavior?
All I'm hearing is fact after fact after fact after fact. Like, god damn, it's so true, dude. It's so true. I mean, how else could I can't even, I don't even know where to begin. I mean, everything is so accurate. It hits the nail right on the head. Because the fact of the matter is, people that, and I've spoken about this previously, I've spoken to people who played a lot of Survivor when I've coached players that were starting out, when I've spoken even recently to a streamer that you guys are familiar with. They had said themselves, like, they did not play any killer for months. I think they said like 4 or 8 months they didn't play any killer. They played mainly Survivor because it was way too too stressful, right? When I've coached people that started playing the game, they just went straight to Survivor right after because they were like, it's just too stressful, right? Let's take into account even people that, even nowadays, right? I've even spoken about killer anxiety in the past as well. There's still people even nowadays that still experience it. Because what benefit do you gain from trying to load up on killer and fail when you're just gonna get clipped and then put in a compilation, right? And survivors that are bullying killers probably don't want to be the butt of the joke, right? And it's like, what do you expect? What do you expect? Like the amount of effort, the macro, the like the learning experience. Like, and I've described it as a sink or swim, right? Even when I started playing, it was difficult, but I did my research and I powered through it. Now I'm here. I am, right? Like probably one of the best ghost faces in the community at this point. I powered through. It was sink or swim. I was like, I'm going to power through and I'm going to win my games and I'm going to play ruthlessly and I'm going to win my games as consistently as I can. And I'm there. You know what I mean? Last I've collected my data, I think I've been at it like a 85% win rate or something like that. But I've stopped playing and collecting data anyway, so it really is, who knows where it could be now. But regardless, that is mainly the point that I'm trying to get at, and it's crazy.
But if you make any more than 1 or 2...
That's right. I almost forgot to mention that part. The leeway with Survivor is so crazy too. And I've said this also previously in different videos, is the fact that you can make multiple mistakes on Survivor and you can still get away with an escape. There is so much freedom and leeway to just make mistake after mistake after mistake after mistake. And they could just do whatever the hell they want. They don't even I've always said this even on streams. They don't have to be good at the game. They don't have to be smart. They don't have to do nearly as much as what I have to do to be able to get the down. Because they can pre-drop, shift W, pre-drop, shift W, pre-drop, shift W, press exhaustion perk, boost off, pre-drop, 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 fly off, and then you'll guarantee 2 gens just because it takes so long to catch up in the first place. It's ridiculous.
mistakes, you have already basically lost. The killer role is unforgiving. It's one person, something I wish behavior wouldn't stay silent on, and they are, which pisses me off and brings me to the next part of this video. Behavior. Being silent is a choice. In the past so many surveys, you have failed to give killer players a voice, an outlet, a place to give their frustrations and constructive criticisms. You have made this decision and you have failed a lot of players. Whenever I see behavior talk on their videos, they seem to pride themselves for being open, diverse and understanding of people. But in reality, they fail to amuse me. Because they will...
I completely agree, and that's why I've been making the videos that I've been making. I've been trying to give you guys that play the killer role, that are experiencing these things. I try to give you guys like a voice in a way. I try to give you guys you know, at least some way to be at least known, that you're heard, that you're, you know, you're not alone in this. And that's the whole purpose of even trying to come together, have you guys communicate these issues in the Discord server, for example, or even in the comment section. Like, you can see that you're not crazy. You're not the only person that is experiencing how bad the game is. And it's we're talking about all walks of life here, really. There are people in low MMR that play whichever killers, and average MMRs that played like different killers, or have even started like a couple months ago. There even have been veterans of the game that started a long time ago. Like, everybody who's been playing this game from all different forms of it, dude, is like all saying the same thing. We're not, at least we can understand, we're not alone in the frustration. And that is mainly what I'm trying to kind of like show in these videos and stuff like that, because I can talk about my own topics as well, and I have been, but there are other perspectives that could easily show me like a different outlook on something. But a lot of the time it still remains pretty consistent with other players in the game too, and they are playing different killers than I do. I'm playing Ghostface, and we got RefinedKills, who's a Vecna main, Vecna being one of the strongest killers in the game. I'm playing one of the weakest in the game, and we both are agreeing that the behavior is dumb. Like, they're idiots. Like, they don't know what they're doing. But that is going to be the end of the video for you guys. If you want to watch the original, it's linked in the description. And you can listen to the video. Support RefinedKills, and support me by becoming a member or joining the Patreon for exclusive content and perks that you won't get anywhere else. And you can also get your name right off at the end of every video. With that being said, see you guys in the next one. Well, I wanted to go ahead and take some time out to thank all my members from Patreon with Crow King 101, my YouTube members, Majora Jeff, Endire, Evil Peachy YT, Zero Mocker, Christian, Hexdev, and Crow Vader, and for my Twitch subscribers, Cake is the Road, Danica 2002, Final Girl _Bunny, Acklefin, Chili Cinderace, Zero Mocker, Ginsburg, Johns 117 underscore, Lovely Ghost TTV, Jar TTV, Zazabu, and Crow Vader. Just wanted to thank you guys. And if you also want to have your name read off at the end of every video, make sure you join on one of these platforms to get one of those perks, as well as the other perks you get. So appreciate you guys. Thank you guys so much.